I just have high standards. I'm sorry.
What are you going to do one day when we have a sound producer who doesn't put up with your shit?
Because I give good notes.
And tells you that you sound the same every time.
They'll say, oh, here's what you're responding to, and then they fix it. Because this is more than a Walmart piece of shit that you bought for $3.
Well, I'm sorry I can't be all things to you.
That's not what I asked for.
And put on a show.
That's not what I asked for.
I guess we'll just trudge along.
We need a line producer.
Clint, get here. All right, what's your story? What's the story? Morning glory. What's the word? Hummingbird. Have you heard about Poodle and Shim? That musical is terrible. We should do that for cabaret. Hi, Poodle. Hi, Maddie. And we have
What's the story? Morning glory. What's the word? Mockingbird. Did you hear you got pinned? That is a good idea.
Good idea.
It's your first good idea ever.
All right.
I don't know if I can follow that. Now.
Well, that's the show.
That's the show. Okay.
That's the show.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, my, we're recording. We didn't even know you were there. I'm sorry. Sometimes I just try to have an idea and you ruin it all. And you know what? Maybe it's for the best. And sometimes I come up with an even better idea like I just did now of stealing the scene and bastardizing it from Bye Bye Birdie. We could call it Bye Bye Poodle.
Welcome to TV Tea Time.
Hey, everybody. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Poodle, a.k.a. Jake.
And we are inspired tonight because that episode of
Feud
was
a really good episode. And it is Easter, and he has risen.
He has
or for
risen.
our Jewish friends, the
Passover.
Pharaoh's passed over.
The Pharaoh did kill your family.
It just never sounds as good.
He is risen.
He is risen indeed.
Ryan Murphy has risen. His career is back.
It
never
risen.
Oh, I don't have my iPad, and we have to read T for 2,
oh
T
my
for you.
God.
So we're gonna
do it on my phone.
I'm gonna tell an Easter story while I wait.
Oh, Christ on the cross!
I remember when we went down to Easter to see my Uncle Leonard and my Aunt Cheryl down in Dallas. And my Aunt Cheryl, I love her because she would always say, "Come here, give me a kiss." And then you'd always have like her fuchsia pink lipstick all over it, and she smelled like Clinique's aromatics.
I don't
elixir.
know what that is.
Smells like youth do, kind of. You know what I'm talking about. Rebecca Barker knows. And so anyway, we went down there for Easter, and I remember I was I had a powder blue suit to wear to Easter. And
my mother dressed me in a powder blue suit.
Yes, and I would only take pictures because of the powder blue suit. I would only take pictures if I was leaning against something and crossing my legs. So I literally have a picture. I'm going to ask my mom if she has it. A picture of me leaning against a tree with a powder blue suit on, just smiling, because I thought of John Travolta in Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Fever.
Same thing.
I don't think we
Same
have,
thing.
I don't think we have any comments.
We don't have any comments from our video? Is it the right video?
Yes.
Oh, no. Well.
Oh, well.
I guess no one's interested anymore.
You know what? Fuck you. Fuck all of you. I'm done. If this wasn't alcohol, I would throw it.
I guess we carry on now, don't we?
I guess we do our 2 bags, but I'll cry.
I feel like
at least Becca Barker and Clint are watching.
What's that show, that Lifetime movie they made with that blonde, brown-haired woman with the big glasses, Sarah Plain and Tall?
I don't think that was a Lifetime movie. I would think it was a Hallmark movie.
That's the way I feel now, just plain and tall.
Maddie Plain and Tall. No, Maddie
That's a good
Maddie
idea.
Plain.
We could go to
because you're really not that tall.
I'm 6 foot.
That's not tall.
I don't think it is, but then everybody tells me it is. We could go out in the field and I could get
People
one of those
just think we look
Pioneer
freakish.
outfits, and then the wind could be blowing and I could just be looking out in tents. I think it'd be good.
You need a pair of glasses, like those old-timey wild glasses.
Yes, like the way Mary and before she went blind in Little House on the Prairie.
I didn't know you watched that show. We could have shared so much about that.
I think every little fat boy
I
watched
wanted
that
to
show.
have sex with Albert so bad.
Albert
His lips.
hot.
Remember his lips?
Yes. Ooh, and remember the one where he was like a werewolf? Or
That
like he thought it was going to be a werewolf? Like he was scared of the werewolf? There was like the wolf man?
Are you sure that was Little House on the Prairie?
It was
I
a
think
weird
you're combining
episode.
a show.
I thought it was a dream. Clint, was there a werewolf episode?
No, they would never have done that. I'm going to go ahead and step in. If there was a werewolf episode of Little House on the Prairie, I will eat my socks.
Please, somebody leave a comment. Please.
I think that was not real.
Ooh, though, he was hot. Albert was.
His name was like Matthew something.
You're thinking about Albert. He was hot, but I also was thinking, what's the young one with the dark hair that came to live with him later?
I don't know.
Because Albert married Mary, right?
No, he was their brother. He was the oldest.
Who was the hot blonde-haired one?
That's Alonzo.
Alonzo. Then I was thinking about Albert. Alonzo was hot, too, and I'm not into blonde guys. Okay. Alonzo was hot.
Or white guys.
He was like He-Man, just strapping.
Anyway.
He-Man.
We're gonna go on to tea bags because
Alonzo
obviously
could teabag me.
There's no tea for two, tea for you this time.
Oh, that's not
Just
Little
wait
House on
for
the
it.
Prairie.
No, those are the final credits.
No.
But no, listen, no, that is Family Feud.
No, that's Price is Right.
You're right,
but it sounds similar.
No, it's no, but the opening credits is da 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 dee, da 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 da.
You know what? I think I danced to a dance remix to that at the Village when I was at.
Just wait it out, everybody.
I made out with some guy and he stuck his hand in my pants during that song.
Just wait it out. Just wait it out.
You know what? People don't have theme songs as good as they used to on television shows. Remember the theme song? Remember when Dallas started? It was an event.
If I don't talk, will you stop? Okay,
you
good.
know that I'm right, though. That was hard because you wanted to talk.
I really did.
Because you have a very strong opinion.
I do have strong opinions about it. We're far afield, and we have a show to
we don't have any fucking comments, so I might as well. I'm not like, thank God this isn't live radio.
Knock this over.
Because if Clint Hurley was our line producer, he'd be going like this. And for you podcast listeners,
you know what? People enjoy some shortness, except when it counts.
Don't want no short man, teeny weeny, shrivel little. That song's stupid.
Our first tea bag.
Our first tea bag.
Mine is when Betty. We've come quite a long way. So we're filming Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte still.
Yes, we are.
And Betty Davis she's a producer. I'm talking like Elijah Minnelli. She's suggesting rewrites. She's suggesting rewrites.
Copernicus looked at the motive to the sky.
So that's a whole other thing.
Raspberries.
Okay, another. You're drunk. So Betty Davis was already.
I did get a good Easter buzz this earlier today.
Betty Davis was suggesting rewrites.
She was.
And that's something that people don't realize, that she did a lot on a lot of movies. One called The Great Lie, which is one of my favorites, where she's a pianist. And there's another, who is it? Another actress, and they wrote the men out of the movie and made it about them.
Through the rewriting process?
Mm-hmm. And so she was really, that was a big deal, and she was one of the few women being able to do that. And I love that. Good for her.
Good for her.
That's mine.
Okay.
It's very up with women.
Up with women. That's up with people. Sorry.
It is.
We had to sing that for show choir. That was
Move on.
Music. All right. Speaking of move on, did you see the New York Times review of Sunday in the Park with George?
No, I didn't. They like it?
Loved it. Said it was fantastic.
I really want to see it. I'm afraid it's going to disappoint me. That's
Jake
really
Gyllenhaal
terrible.
is supposed to be mesmerizing.
I feel like he's too. I don't know. I'm sure he'll be great.
Well, you know what?
It actually just pisses me off that someone who looks that good and is that talented can also sing.
You know
carry
what?
A Broadway show.
It's a little upsetting. It's a little upsetting. It is.
And I mean, good for him and everything like that, but I don't have to like it.
I wish he was at least fat.
I wish he was at least gay.
Because that makes Josh Gad likable.
It's true.
It's true. If Josh Gad was
like
skinny
I have something on him.
If Josh Gad was skinny and hot,
I
I
would
would
hate his ass.
I hate that little fucking snowman. Do you want to build a snowman? No, I want to hit you in the face.
That is the response of do you want to build a snowman?
that is the response.
I'm like, no. I don't want to sit here and build a snowman. I want to fucking do something that's worthwhile.
True. All right. Like worthwhile, like hygiene. Because my first tea bag is...
What a segue.
Yeah, I know. My first tea bag is...
A girl once said segue to segue, and I laughed in her face.
Not the first time you've laughed at someone's face. I literally see you look at someone's face and go, ah, ha, 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 to a stranger.
It's not my fault they're stupid.
It's not.
And I find it funny.
All right. So mine is, it's just because of, I'm sure this is actually true and what happened, but when we were seeing Mamacita unwrap the hotel beds from plastic, like it really, the subtle things of showing like Joan Crawford's descent into Crazy Town.
I think she'd been there for a while.
She'd been there for a while. But
she'd been living there for a while, and she owned a house in Crazy Town.
But so this isn't a huge
she had
point.
a bus stop there.
But, oh, man, in seeing that, you just go... And we'll talk more about this, but just talk about it being imprisoned by her own mind.
She's seriously damaged at this point.
Seriously damaged at this point, yeah.
Betty Davis is has a little bit more going for her. And which gets me to the next point.
Look at us, we're seguing.
This is amazing.
I know.
I don't know if for those of you who watch the Riverdale podcast, we have
that hurt.
I'm glad.
I wanted to fix that.
Sometimes I feel.
When
I hurt you, I feel better.
Like
does that make me abusive?
Yes, it does make you abusive. Yes, it actually probably sends serotonin and dopamine to your brain when you hit me. Wow.
I'm sure there are other
you're just
people out
witnessing
there.
the cycle of violence, everyone.
I'm sure there are other people out there who want to hit you. So the next thing is Betty Davis. That great scene when Betty Davis and Joan Crawford are kind of having it out right after her at the sliding glass door, and she said, you can tell she's envied her beauty the whole time. Betty Davis has envied Joan Crawford's beauty, and both are they're just throwing it down, saying, how's it feel to be the most beautiful person in the world in the room? And she's like, it was wonderful. And it was never enough. And Betty Davis, how's it feel to be the most talented? It was the most amazing thing, but it was never enough. Two sides of the same coin.
Two sides, and we did see a lot of that. Like,
and I'm sure that really never happened, but it was a great written scene.
I think Tim Minear. Did Tim Minear write this show? I didn't say his name right.
Minear, yeah.
Well, I will. That is a T for two. Is that Tim Minear? The writer of this show retweeted us, and he watched our tweet. That man, he wrote for
Dollhouse. He wrote for Lois and Clark,
Zorro, in the 90s. Which
that's
I don't
not
think
a big
anybody
credit.
watched but me.
Firefly was a huge thing for him.
He wrote for Buffy.
Firefly was great.
You know what?
You guys should watch Firefly.
I'm proud for
Tim.
If I didn't have a boyfriend, I would give him a blowjob just as a thank you.
Hear that, Tim?
You know what?
This is what you could have.
I don't know if you're gay, but even if you're straight, that would make me want to give you a blowjob even more.
Stop offering that. Because
if
most people are like, why are you don't know me and you'd offer to give me a blowjob?
You know what? If you're straight, though, Poodle will give you a blowjob. that is your way.
You know what? With a wig on, you never know.
Never know.
Mm-hmm. I can put my voice pretty high.
Once she shaves.
Mm-hmm.
It's very feminine.
I have a whole song about it.
Soft lips. Mama needs milk.
Let's move on. Oh, my God.
Baby hungry. What was your tea bag? What did you even say?
Baby hungry. It was. It was about them being two sides of the same coin.
What?
But I was trying to say something. Something. Let's move on.
Well, I want to just say,
I just need a drink.
I don't think that would ever happen, but I think they're showing that because you were starting to see, like, with Joan Crawford, when she was really upset and she tried to go over and talk to Betty on the other side of the hotel because Betty was having a party and was keeping her up, and she was frozen and couldn't do it. And that was the first time I never thought about it, but I always thought Joan was jealous of Betty Davis's Betty Crawford, of Betty Davis's talent.
I thought you were going to say Betty Crocker. You would,
but I think Joan was also jealous of Betty Davis's just socialness and her ability to have, and I never thought about that until this episode, and I thought she really felt just like kind of like a prisoner of stardom. She didn't go to parties. Remember how she talked about that unless she had a movie to talk about? She never could be herself. Ever.
Well, I think Betty Davis enjoyed kind of being around other actors and talking about acting. I don't think Joan Crawford was not an actor first. She was a personality first.
She was a personality.
Yeah. And Betty Davis loved being around other actors.
She loved the craft.
Yeah.
She did.
And talking about it and being around people who loved doing it. She as Joan Crawford said, I'm sorry I didn't grow up in the theater like you did. I grew up on dancing in a bunch of Fringe or something like that.
Yes.
Smelling of scotch. And I think I wrote down, this is a monologue that I would like to do.
You did say that. You did say that you would like to do that.
Casting people, look for that monologue when I come in.
Tim, send it to him. So my next teabag, so I was just kind of going off of you, but my next teabag too is, and I guess I could have put this with wrapping the bed and everything, but still, as a makeup artist who puts who has put on fake eyelashes on many a lady.
As a makeup artist.
As a makeup artist, formal one.
Exactly.
Do you know how much difference it makes of having different sets of eyelashes? None.
No, and I don't care.
No, but I mean the fact that she was looking at these eyelashes with a magnifying glass. Yeah. I'm just, bitch was crazy. That's gross. Bitch was crazy.
Sorry,
but yeah. So
this came off,
and it was and that scene too. Was that the scene later with her and Bob Aldridge too, where they're in the hotel? And
Betty Davis.
Were you going to talk about this when she talked about Jack Warner?
I was, yes.
Go ahead and talk about that, because I just did my teabag. Talk about that. It's right after that.
You can tell Betty Davis is still kind of wounded when she's in the hotel room with Bob Aldrich, and he's putting her to bed, and they're not even going to have sex or anything like that because she's been drinking too much. But Betty Davis tells a story about Jack Warner when she comes in, and she said, I hid behind the door, and I waited to hear what he said, and he said, you know what? She's talented, but who would ever want to fuck her?
Who would ever want to fuck that?
Who would ever want to fuck that?
Yeah.
And, he would have said, I wish she'd look more like Joan Crawford.
Yeah. And she was 22 at the time.
And she was very pretty. She was, but as she says later on, I'll talk about later, I am a character actress.
She does say that. Which she was famous for saying that. She said that
I am a character actress.
We got it the first time.
Character actress.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It made sense.
I think it's good.
But, what I saw in that scene where she went to bed, kind of tears in her eyes, for both her and Joan, again, I never thought about it this way, that they really did, even though Betty Davis didn't let you know it on the outside, but all actors do. They just wanted to be liked. Both of them, I think, shared that sentiment or feeling.
What a dump. I agree. You need to admit it's good.
You know what? Sometimes it's like doing a show with a fucking puppet.
You need to admit that it's a good impression. What a dump.
It's an passable impression.
My next one, I think my last one actually.
I don't even know where we are.
My last one, I have a lot of quotes.
No, that's not your last one.
Yes, it is.
You just did your third one. This is your...
No.
Wait, no, it's mine. You were just talking about Jack Warner and Betty Davis.
Right, never mind.
Good Lord.
It's been a long day. It's been a long day.
I
think I say that every time we do this.
I want to talk about Joan Crawford feigning sick.
Oh.
And literally faking sick, totally for the at the
brilliant.
cost of,
it's brilliant.
Her fainting spells that she does. And I just want to say, this is less about Joan and more about my experience. I am very worried now because in the scene where she faints in the middle of a sentence, I looked over at you and I saw the light bulb go off in your head. And I'm telling you now, if you start fucking fainting on me in real life to get out of things, I'm not catching you. I'm not calling the doctors. I'm just going to let you stay there.
Sometimes my health is unpredictable, and I cannot.
I can't support this.
Especially when
I knew it.
When I don't have a lot of. When you don't let me get a good night's sleep, and when you don't let me have enough to eat,
you know what?
I get a little tired.
I'm sorry that you have a fragile constitution.
You know what? That's how the business is done. You have to allow for that.
I'm just saying for the record.
And sometimes when I get upset, I feel faint.
If Poodle faints, I'm just going to keep going on with the show, or I'm going to keep walking.
Yeah, we'll see how that works.
I brought you back from the brink once. It's enough. It's enough. What's your next tea bag? This should be your number 4.
I think this is the last one.
No, it's not. I've only done 3. I'm telling you, don't make this show shorter just because you want it to.
Oh, mine was the same thing about pretending to faint.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, I don't think I have.
I'll go, and then you. No, this kind of goes on with that, but boy, Bob Aldridge did get his balls back though with Joan and with Betty.
Bobby got his balls back.
He did. Ding ling ling ling.
Like Stella got her groove back.
But because I didn't. Did you expect that when he? I was totally shocked when he went into Joan Crawford's bedroom.
Just done, and also Betty Davis was kind of like supporting him. So
I know, but still, did you expect him to tell Joan to get her fucking stuff together and be there at fucking 7 a.m.?
He was supported by the studio, though.
I know, but did you? I did not expect that.
I agree.
That made me. That was a little bit
all over myself.
That's true. That was a little bit for me of a clutch.
That sounded sexual.
You know what? I didn't want to bring that up. Didn't want to bring it up.
Moving on. Sorry.
Sometimes we think about things, but we don't say them aloud.
You know what? I've never had that impulse.
Boy, no shit. No shit. Wow. Did you just like when you were a little kid walk by people and go, "Mommy, look at that person in a wheelchair"?
I was told.
Why are they rolling?
I was told by my mother a lot of times, just because you think it doesn't mean you have to say it.
What's the most embarrassing thing you ever said about someone else in front of your mother? Embarrassed them?
Well, we went to this when I was kind of, I would say 7 or 8. We went to this kind of conservative Methodist church at the time. Mm-hmm. We went to a lot of different churches because my parents had ideas about what church was supposed to be.
Cool.
But we went to this one church, and my parents also used to have they used to make their own wine in our cellar.
Oh.
And all this wine making equipment. They used to have parties, and I remember about it.
Moonshine?
And no, wine. Actually, homemade wine.
Mm-hmm.
And one time, my mother never allowed us to have Kool-Aid or anything like that because she thought it was sugary, and we never got to have sugar as children, which makes sense with my childhood. Was so joyless.
That paid off. From someone that I've seen stop talking to eat cake.
I know, right? Really. So I was in Sunday school at this church, and they had Kool-Aid and in little red Solo cups, and I screamed out, "Oh boy, we're having wine!" This is a conservative church. And the woman was like, "Oh honey, we don't drink wine at church. We don't drink at this church." And I said, "We do. We make our own." And my mother was right there and just felt herself stiffen. And after that, I think we left that church like 3 weeks later. We literally... I think I was responsible for us leaving several churches of things that I said. And my mother, for a while, would not let me go to children's sermons because of things that I would say. Because I would volunteer things or not let any of the other kids talk. So you know what? I've always been like this. I've never not been like this. So anyway.
Boy.
Yes.
We just had a flashback. What the hell happened? All right.
I was an adorable child, though, so it was okay and passable. Because things that came out of my mouth, it was okay to say because I was adorable. My next thing is the last pose the show. They're posing with a fucking Coca-Cola thing.
Yeah.
And when they've got Joan away, and they're just loving it that they got Coca-Cola instead of Pepsi.
Olivia de Havilland is just...
Oh, I love her!
She's great. And her and Betty Davis were...
I love how she just got purrs.
But they were lifelong friends.
They were.
Lifelong friends.
Lifelong. That's
friends.
It for me.
Well,
I got a lot of quotes, though.
You know what? Again, this summed up so much about it. My last is actually when Betty Davis is talking to her daughter, BD, who actually, we see that BD...
I always hear BD.
Me too. But that her BD is a bit of a troublemaker because she wrote a tell-all book about Betty Davis as well.
Oh, it was nasty.
While Betty Davis was living, a lot of it was fake. And she's like a minister now. Apparently, we don't like her. Not because she's a minister.
Fuck her.
But
Don't fuck with Betty Davis.
Yes, thank you. But...
Screw you. She was amazing. You know, we didn't have to grow up with her, though.
It's true. But I love that when
jerk,
she's talking to her about marriage and the way Betty Davis, Betty Davis, everything was about working for her. Like you always worked like at anything. And the way she described marriage is work. You do this, it's work. It's work.
Marriage is work.
Fading interest in your husband's stories is work. It's such what women had to go through, but also just Betty Davis mindset.
It's like my interest in your stories fade.
Well, my first quote, my quote unquotable, speaking of, is I love...
Strong tea with quote unquotables. Sorry if my voice is a little raspy. I've sung like a lot of notes today because it's Easter.
That
actually sounded really bratty, and I'm aware of it.
I would try to auto-tune that, but there was so not any core in that. I don't think I could find it.
Oh, my God.
All right. So I loved it when Betty Davis said...
If I could kill you with my eyes right now, I would. Can you imagine if I could kill people with a look?
One look.
A lot of people would be dead.
Why haven't we done that for Cabaret?
With one look?
Or did we?
Well, I've done everything as if we've never said goodbye.
Still.
I could still do it with one look. I should do all the Sunset Boulevard songs.
But I loved it when Betty Davis says, she's talking to her daughter about marriage, and she said, but darling, the first wedding is the one you remember the most.
Oh, I've written that one down.
Just assumes there's going to be more to come.
So I got a lot of quotes here. So first is Joan Crawford saying, when we're just getting into makeup, the brows are mine, and the mouth.
Oh, God. This is going to be long. Should I wait up?
What did she say?
That's what Mamacita said.
Should I wait up?
When Joan Crawford was going to go talk to Betty Davis.
She also says, you vile woman.
Yeah. She's like, should I wait up? She said, you vile bitch.
Yeah, you a vile bitch. And then Betty Davis says about Joan Crawford, when Victor Bueno asks where she is, she says, I think she's out catching groundhogs to replenish her wig supply.
So was Joan Crawford always wearing a wig?
Always.
So I didn't know. They kind of alluded to it. She was losing her hair.
Always. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Another one was Betty Davis saying, I'm a character actress. Which I've already said a couple times, but I can't stop saying it.
By the way, I'm going to interrupt you because it's important. Because we even brought up last episode, but even more, Susan Sarandon is going for it. She is Betty Davis, but also Joan Crawford at the end when she's like, Mamacita, no. Even just the way her voice sounded, it was really Joan Crawford.
It is not. No wonder she wanted to do this because she has approval or disapproval.
If I was either of those women, I would have been moist reading this script.
Oh, I just like finger banging myself.
Yes.
Those of you who are watching the YouTube clip, you probably don't want to watch what I just did there.
I don't want to watch it. I wish you could kill me with your eyes. Wow. Thanks for doing it again.
Sorry you asked for it. The next one is also from Betty Davis, talking about Joan Crawford.
Betty Davis thighs.
And she's like, maybe she's gone to bed, he says. And Betty Davis says, bed is the last place that woman gets any rest.
That's true. That's how she made that entrance. She just walked in.
Oh, I love it. And you did the first wedding thing. And then the other one, I did love when they're talking about someone to replace Joan Crawford. Vivian Leigh, that Brit isn't going to do that. She played Scarlett O'Hara. Unconvincingly. Oh. I did swoon about that.
How old were you when you saw Gone with the Wind?
I was 12 or 13. My mother showed it to me. Thanks, Mom.
You know, my mom did, too, when I was 12 or 13.
You know what?
Boy, they did their work.
That was a transition that happened that day.
It was.
I could feel something welling up in me that day.
It's true. When that sun set on Terror, I was like, tomorrow is another gay.
And that background is God as my witness. I shall never eat pussy again. I don't think anyone ever sings that theme.
We know.
No. All right, we're signing off because I can't allow this because that's a terrible sound.
You know what? If we could use the rights of Gone with the Wind to sign off on the show, I would, but they'd make us pay for it.
It's called the Terra theme.
The Terra theme.
That's the name of the house.
Did you ever see the second one that they did?
No, it was awful.
I don't want to.
All right, show.
I guess none of you care.
Next week
got no
is
comment.
finale.
Next week is the finale of Feud. Shit is happening. By the way, I know what is the date. It's April 16th. We got a Facebook comment. I've got a text. It's official. We have hit 10 comments. We're doing that fucking stupid Fire Island show.
We're going to be recapping Logo Fire Island.
We got it yesterday we got the 10th comment. I meant to tell you. It's real. So that's going to start at the end of this month. So
I'm actually a little teary because I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it either.
But we said we would.
So that's going to happen.
Anyway.
Yeah, Riverdale too. Feud and Riverdale are winding up, so stay with us.
Next
on the course.
week, the last episode of Feud. We have 2 or 3 more weeks of Riverdale.
Riverdale's getting great too.
And then we start another fucking piece of shit.
Where
the real mess begins.
Fire Island.
Hopefully, there's like some. Oh God, we're gonna read the shit out of that.
That show. I don't even think we can drink. I don't even think I can have like beer for that. I think I'm gonna need straight up gin to make it through that.
I agree.
All right.
Subscribe, please.
Leave
us a comment. Please leave a comment on the podcast on iTunes or whatever you listen to on our podcast.
Even if you're that one guy who said...
And you're still not paying.
Nobody's paying. Even if you're that one guy who said the shit you can do with the internet connection and a shitty camera. That's at least something. At least I feel we're making a difference.
I respect you, Queen.
All right, everybody. So we'll see you on Friday for our Riverdale podcast, and for you Feud people, we'll see you next Sunday.
Pesach.
I don't know what that means.
Passover, whatever. Is that is that New Year? I don't know. This show's not for Jews.
#Gentiles. All right, we'll see y'all next week.
Happy Easter. He
Bye.
is risen.